final thought. A tweet from the Tempe Arizona Officers Association alleges that a Starbucks barista in Tempe asked 6 police officers to leave because a customer complained about feeling unsafe in their presence on July 4th, prompting Starbucks to issue an apology to the officers, but not before social media users started sharing the Dump Starbucks hashtag. Wait, wasn't it like a year ago that police were called on 2 black customers simply waiting for a friend in a Philadelphia Starbucks and got arrested simply for their presence? Following that, people of color pushed the Boycott Starbucks hashtag. So clearly, this is not about Starbucks. Neither case should have happened. Police should be welcome to enjoy a drink at any Starbucks, and they certainly should have used more discretion in Philadelphia. But the question nobody's asking is, why do people feel uncomfortable around police officers? We should all aim for a society like the one we were told of growing up, where we feel police officers can be trusted. But with cell phones and social media, cases of officer misconduct are all too common nowadays, and it's very hard to reconcile those two. It's going to take the many officers doing their jobs the right way to change this perception and rebuild the bridge with the communities they serve. The NYPD, which has certainly had its fair share of problems themselves, did just that this weekend. Officers were called to a Whole Foods to arrest a woman for shoplifting, but instead they paid for her food. That's called compassion. And a little goes a long way. A lot, then we can start to move back to the world that we want. We're going to continue this conversation online. You guys have a beautiful Monday. Get up, DC.